My name is Sadie Freeman. I'm a resident of the Jewish Home for the Elderly. Oh, I had to make a couple of telephone calls.
Okay.
You know, I don't even know your first name.
David.
Oh yeah, that's my nephew's name. And I love that name. Okay, you've been waiting long?
No, just a minute or two.
Okay. I've been here over 30 years. From day one, it has proven to be, to me, one of the best things that can happen to anyone.
Sadie Freeman is the first lady of the Jewish Home. She was our first employee. She worked here for 25 plus years. She was a volunteer. She's been a resident for the last few.
She knows everyone. Everyone knows Sadie.
You see this girl here, Tanisha.
Hi, Sadie.
She's like my daughter.
That's right.
Are you famous?
No.
Should I get your
No, I'm not famous. I'm Sadie.
Sadie has always believed this was her home, even when she worked here and was a volunteer. It was her home.
She chose to be here because I think she knew the quality of care that we provided. But it was more than that.
Hi, Barbara.
I think this had become part of her and she'd become part of us.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Everything we've ever dreamed about doing here, she's been a part of, which is then made even more amazing by her connection with her family.
Our family name is Fialk, which I'm Sidney Fialk. Sadie Fialk Freeman's her marriage name.
There are 8 Fialk siblings, 5 of which have already had a connection with the Jewish Home in some way.
My brother who is here is Nathan Fialk.
I brought you some nice fruit. Here, Nate. It's absolutely delicious.
Bess Fialk Lightman.
We just came because we wanted to say hello to you.
Harriet Fialk Gross.
How do you do?
So they're basically Sid Fialk's brother and 3 sisters.
Sadie has been instrumental in them being here, and certainly not only with her own family, she has brought so many people from the community into the Jewish Home and helped make their lives a little bit better.
What other things do you remember about her? She is such a great link to the past and is the sage to so many when she can tell her stories about the home and what's happened in its history.
It's funny the way I became involved. I had just lost my husband and I had moved back to Bridgeport, and I met a couple of friends that I had gone to school with, and they greeted me and told me they were sorry that for my loss. I said to them, what's going on? Oh, she says, haven't you heard? They're going to build a Jewish home for the elderly here. I said, they are.
The person who was executive director of the Bridgeport United Jewish Council served as a staff person for this nascent group. Sadie was the scribe. She was the one that took the notes. She was the one that sent the letters.
I worked in administration where I used to call for contributions. They still have the ledgers of all the names that I wrote, books this thick. I used to go out with Dennis every night in the week for months and months and months and try to get money. And they start giving us little contributions. And then one gentleman came in, I never forget, it was winter time. He came in and he had beautiful striped pants on. He was dressed so nice, and I said to one of the girls, gee, look at that man, he must be rich. Look how nicely he's dressed. I hope he comes across with some money. Well, he did. He laid down, he gave $1 million for the Jewish Home for the Elderly. And his name was Mr. List. That's why when you walk into the main entrance, there's a big sign there, and it's known as the List Residence.
The quality of care here can only be what it is by the additional dollars. And by having the voluntary donations to this place can be what it is.
They had a beautiful opening. That was the day that they put our names in this little brick section. They put all the names that were there for the opening of the home. It was just the most wonderful day of my life. There was a few residents that came in right away. As the time went by, they kept getting more and more and more, and it got to a point where they had a waiting list for rooms because people were just clamoring to come into the Jewish home for the elderly.
I think people like Sadie are the real pioneers of the Jewish home.
If you had a problem and you didn't know where to go, you went to Sadie. She had the answers, she knew who to send you to.
That typewriter I don't think was ever shut off.
Sadie had the history, the knowledge, everything at her fingertips.
If I needed phone numbers or I needed lists, Sadie had them all done in this little file, Rolodex that she had.
When I retired, I figured, well, I don't want to stay home. I want to do something worthwhile. I went into the volunteer department. I put in 5,000 hours working, and I'm still volunteering today.
She's the thread of history. She can tie a lot of things together of where we came from and possibly where we're going to.
She comes out of that room perky, dressed to the nines. I think Sadie still enjoys working for and at the Jewish home.
Hector, I finished all these. You see this boy here? When he came, he was a young boy. How many years now? A lot of these people that I have given applications to are still here and remember the day that I gave them their applications. He's one of the best workers.
I can't imagine the home without Sadie or Sadie without the home. We wouldn't be here without Sadie Freeman.
There are so many different ways to think about continuity, but probably the most important piece is how it connects families from generation to generation. And Sadie has been a bridge. She has touched a part of all of those generations, which is just so remarkable.
Well, are we through?
I'm Sid Fialk, Sadie Freeman's brother. Sadie has passed away in August of 2008, and her legacy is still with the Jewish home. Sadie had two marriages, one to Samuel Freeman, and the other was to the Jewish home. Sadie started when the home had an office at the Jewish Community Center. And ever since, every brick that the Jewish home started with, Sadie was part of that. As a resident of the home, Sadie Freeman had the most wonderful experience living at the home as if she had working at the home. And everybody thought Sadie was just a marvelous lady. I think a defining thing is that the home has made a Sadie Freeman Award, and every year an outstanding employee of the Jewish home receives this award. And this award, in Sadie Freeman's name, will be, I hope, and they say, forever and ever. Sadie Freeman's name will always be part of the Jewish home.